Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace, reporting live here at Smalls, here in the heart of the West Village here in New York City. During the 1980s, there was a very important part of jazz music history taking place with a young corps of musicians hailed as the Young Lions. Now, the Young Lions were these musicians who were playing on the band stage and touring and recording with the legendary jazz architects of this music. Now, during the 1980s, there were a canon of tremendous trumpet players that came on the scene, and I'm talking about guys like Terrence Blanchard, the great Wynton Marsalis, and also Philip Harper. Now, Philip Harper and his brother Wynton had a dynamic duo, the Harper brothers, and they recorded some very prolific albums during the late 80s into the early 90s. Now, tonight here on the Pace Report, you're going to see highlights of Philip's residency here at Smalls. Now, he hosts and holds court here with his band, the PHAM Expression, a couple of times a month. The PHAM Expression is really an olive branch to what he did when he was playing in the 1980s. Tonight you're going to see highlights of him performing with his group, the PHAM Expression, and I had a chance to sit down and break bread with him to, one, discuss this group as well as reflect on the 80s Black Lions movement, as well as we're going to sit down and talk about some of his important influences as well as reflect on life. So sit back, relax, and enjoy highlights of Mr. Philip Harper, the PHAM Expression, performing music for his residency here at Smalls, here on the Pace Report, here in New York City. want to talk about the PHAM expression. And the thing that I love about what you are doing is that you are now doing what, as a young lion, what Art Blakey did with you. Are you happy with the way the music is going?
Ooh, that's a double-sided sword there, because well, you're happy with seeing how, like we were just talking about, how easy it's coming to the fact that you can learn so much so easy and so fast. But in terms of where it's going, yeah, I mean, it's different. The music is all, especially jazz. It's this listening thing. It's a call and response thing that helps you get there. Whereas, some of our learning tools are making it so that it's not as, I don't know, it's not directed by like us with each other, playing it like it's supposed to be. You learn from each other how you play this music, where it's going to go, and you have a lot of stuff that's already set there, and it's working on the system, it's working on this, and after a while it seems more athletic than it does musical to me. So it drives me more to like always wanting to hear words and what people are doing. If I'm at every guy I was listening to back in my day, coming up, I could hear words in the solo. And there were guys who made words to certain solos back in the day because it was so melodic. Now there's too many systems where for me, like I said, I didn't go that approach, that way. I listened to a lot of these records like what you got in here, man. And they all had stories that I was interested in. That was my books to read. That was everything,
Philip, when you moved to New York, you were actually kind of at a very good point too, because you had Bradley's, you had Sweet Basil, had, and those were kind of like institutions within itself.
Yeah, well, not even just that. You had all the guys who were around. You had the vehicles of jazz. You had Betty Carter vehicle. You had Horace Silver vehicle. There were certain bands that were around, so a lot of guys were coming because you could possibly get in this band or get in that band. So there was some promise. And, because of Blakey's popularity at the time, a lot of bands were looking for younger guys. So it was a great time, which they called their time of the young lions. But it was a lot of great cats here around that time. And it was nice. It was kind of somewhat of a newness to what was happening right before it. But it was, and some of that was started by Winton. And that was a revival to this music that, it's still reviving in a certain way that like now it's really being more understood by a lot of different people. And that's, like I said, double-edged sword here.
It's crazy because my exposure, I remember I told you after your set, man, it's like you and your brother in the late 80s and 90s, there was this rush of young musicians, and not just young. Y'all had a lot to say musically because you were trying to etch your own vernacular in your own swag at a time when the elders were just about to leave us.
Yeah, in a way, but we were with them too. That's the thing. He was playing with Betty Carter, I was playing with Jimmy McGriff, and other folks like Little Jimmy Scott, and it was a good time. A lot of guys were still around when you were learning from these different vehicles while trying to bring something to your own thing. And I called that a good time because it wasn't school that was teaching you like this system and that system. It was all these different, because you were eager when you got to New York, man. You wanted to work. You wanted to work with somebody. So you might have learned 10 songs from this guy, 10 songs from that one, 10, and just because if you had a chance to sit in, you might have a chance for a gig, So we don't have all of those vehicles like we used to have, and which is sad, but we have a lot of really great young players coming up, which hopefully is making for more, they'll become vehicles, and where we say like, okay, this is the music, that's the music, like you had Horace Silver, it was a different time that now I think what we have is starting to become this understanding of what the time was about. So these kids, man, they know how to play, They got the facility down. They've been listening, and the fact that it's so right there at their fingertips, almost by osmosis, they should be able to be right on it, And I'm looking forward to seeing where it can really go, if it all comes into the right place of us, it's like call and response. If we really start listening to each other, what could happen?
Right, right. Your band is phenomenal, man. I'm digging your piano player. Mm-hmm. I'm really feeling your drummer and your bassist. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you're instilling in your musicians when they approach the band music and how they approach the music?
Well, same thing I'm trying to get from them, same thing with, Art instilled in me, it's like I said, it's call and response music, so they give me a livelihood. So that, I remember Art Blakey told me, he said, I hired you for your sound. I hired you to make me sound good. So don't be scared, because the first time in the band, you're nervous, your knees are clacking and shit, And Art can see this, so he said, no, that's what he said. He said, hey, man, get over that. He said, you got to be here because you got something I know that can make this band sound good. So you hire strong young, and when I hear them, man, these guys coming, they got a spirit going on, and that's a part that you remember you miss too. So you stay a part of it as well, and I know Art felt that as well. It's something I never wanted to give up. I was not somebody who wanted to teach in school that way. So, but for me, I feel like this is my teaching ground, like New York was a teaching ground for me. So it gave me the ability to give back what was given, like how to learn this guy's music, that guy's music, then come up with how to make song. I mean, song out of a whole night, not just in one song. So, and sometimes that's forgotten in so much technical ability, and but it's great,
Philip, Smalls and Mezro, there's really a handful of jazz clubs that are really around now. And in the spirit of, Smalls and Mezro, is Spike really kind of continuing that great legacy of the old jazz clubs of the past?
Well, Spike came up with me. He was one of my first pianists that when I first got to New York, I got the Blue Note session from Ted Curson. So Ted Curson would go out, during the whole summer and leave me with the Blue Note jam session for the whole summer. So then Spike was one of the guys, and he was the kid back then, man.
So y'all were just young.
We were young. I was 19, 20 around that time. I was just getting my art too. Around the time I was also working with Jim McGriff, so I was part of New York, and in New York, it was a new young scene happening. But we did that session together, didn't make any money. We talking about, I won't even repeat what the money was, but you came right after a main act, so you got to see all these great artists, and then if they stayed around to hear you, that was a good thing too, to help lead to some things to happen for you. So and Spike is still continuing that tradition, like he has the show, and then here comes the thing where the jam session comes. And that's something that's how we grew up in New York. So, and he asked when I got back, I was living in New York for a long time, and Spike asked me when I got back in town, trying to figure out, because out of sight, out of mind, what I'm going to do next. He said, man, I wanted you to do what you used to do, and I want it done that way. So, we bring that kind of livelihood back to what it used to be for us. And I've been doing it now with him for probably a little more than 10 years.
10 years, I was going to say, because, I have a lot of respect for Spike, especially during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he gave a lot of people some opportunities to play at a time when the world was shut down, and people don't understand how important Smalls and Mezro is, because it is an incubator of the next generation.
Yeah. And if they come there, they're gonna get a piece of it, because everybody's down there. You got your Johnny O'Neills, you got your, like a lot of the older cats who come through there, and if they're in the background, you might not see them sometimes. But every now and then, one might creep up. You get your Curtis Lundys, you'll get up there like he did a few weeks ago, and then. And that's the thing, and every now and then you see him pull somebody off to the side, and there's some good advice being laid down, like it used to be back in the Vanguard in my day, when God liked you, if they didn't like you, they didn't say anything to you. If they, liked you, sometimes they say, man, what the hell did you just play? So sometimes, like that negative comment somebody gave you was not negative at all, it meant they liked you, so something they just, they had to say something to you because actually they liked you. So say that's letting you know you can do better. So a lot of times if they didn't say nothing, okay, cool, But if they said something, that means they were trying to really lay something on you. Now it's more like we got the internet stuff that happens where everybody's just talking smack about each other because it's not what they prefer. But this wasn't about trying to figure out how to like do this thing we love to do so well together and so much. Man, I wanted to be out every night playing. I wasn't one of them guys who wanted to be a star and I work a tour like once, 2 or 3 times a year. No, I want to be out every night playing.
And you did it.
I still do. I used to say it back in the day, man, I'd be 75 if I was playing the Pink Pussycat every day for the rest of my life, as long as I could play the music I like, And wherever the Pink Pussycat would be, it would make a difference, As long as I had the gig to play that long, and yeah, why not? Then, here in New York, you get to play with somebody and they're coming up. I've seen some young kids, man, I'm like, And so there's some promise. There's some good promise here for sure, But there's, also sometimes what's missing is that sense of respect, because it's learned, probably since pandemic for sure. That's what we had. And a lot of greatness came out of pandemic, believe it or not, because you had so much time to really look and research stuff.
Right.
That now, like, okay, hey, you got some really good young talent coming up, but what we had was that, knowing somebody, getting to know, you knew when this guy walked in the room. I knew when, and so there's a different kind of respect there, and it just made it so that music it did the story. The continuing story, not just like all of a sudden we go from this to this. It's a chromatic process now. It's not melodic anymore. You know what I mean? It's not that storytelling that it really used to be sometimes. And then that's where you say, okay. And so you try to be a part of it so that we share this thing together. So we say, okay, hey, maybe I can push more this way, you can push more that way, and so hopefully we still keep telling our story. And in this music, jazz was the one thing when you have all those different generations on the bandstand together, with better music, from young to old now. Guys are playing, man, so you're sharing everything. And this is speaking music. So, yeah, it's what, it's the thing that I think it's addictive. That part of it is. So if you live in New York, man, that's the part that I got to play. Once you leave the city, you go places that there's not a jam session at least still, it's not like it used to be, but every night there's a session here, so you can go somewhere, man, just get your itch on, But anywhere else you go, past a certain time, everything's closed, and so if you really, spend a lot of time in this, it's something you can't really, shake.
It's crazy we're talking about this because there was a time when, before COVID, there were places staying open to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's like now this new New York is like,
well, you
10, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, but you still have some small still does it, or the other place, but it's different now because it's more of a younger crew out than what used to be out back in the day, But I remember when I got back, actually after 9/11, man, that's when it really changed. Because I left for a long time, and so I get back, maybe I came back in 2012 or something like that. And my first gig was with Mingus. I'm there, man, like normal. I'm there. It's 9:30. I say, where were you? What are you talking about, man? What was it? I said, nah. He said, no, that's the second set. I said, I never knew you started at 7-something in New York, man.
Right.
There was no jazz gig before I left. It started at 7, and it was called a matinee,
Right.
So we're doing a matinee at 4:30 or that, but I never know such thing as a 7:30 set. So my first return to Mingus, man, after being in Europe for a while, I was like, I'm late a whole set.
How does Sue take that?
Yeah, man, she just thought I messed up again.
So, while we were on Mingus, you were part of last year. You were part of the Centennial and the recording.
Yeah.
And Mingus means a lot to me as not just a composer, but I liked what he stood for. What was it about Mingus's compositions that you had to kind of adapt to and learn? And what were some things that you learned about Mingus being in this big band?
Well, really, it's a self-expression. I mean, if anybody really got self-expression out of music, it's him. Because every song has some sense of expression of who he is. You feel that hard. And that's what makes it hard to play in that band, because sometimes you're left with that shit. You can't get that worm out your ear. There's certain tunes, man, if you finish the night, that shit's stuck. And you can't get nothing else back in there. And that was, he had real hard personality about expressing some things, and it felt really, and you feel people get that. And it took me a while to get it, because while being young, that was, at first I thought music was a bit, I was Clifford Brown and Ron Salt at the school, we have a jazz band, they get these mystical charts of Mingus music, and I'm like, it wasn't what I was into. And then next thing you know, I spent 30 years in the band. I'm like, no, man, no, Mingus. And they used to call me, man, so next thing you know, they got me 30 years in the band, and it's a family experience within itself, because like even to this day I learned a lot. Even about what they're trying to do, and it's still stay afloat what they're doing for the kids. It's something that Sue, you either love or hate her, or really you have to do both, because she was a powerhouse. And she said, we just finished that with the kids, coming in town, and I saw so many great kids, man, and playing Mingus shit, like when I was that age, I was like, oh, I can't handle this. Right? I'm still dealing with Cameo and Earth, Wind and Fire. So it took me a minute, but when I see what these kids were doing, man, and they getting it, man, I'm like, wow, and some of them are really getting it.
Right.
Not just the notes. I'm talking about getting that story and that feeling. So, and the music like that is powerful. When you get to be a part of something like that, like being called the messenger. And in the band, they refer to me like royalty, like that band is royalty, Mingus is royalty, so yeah, it's nice being a part of that too,
Philip, why do you think now people are now playing Charles Mingus, Duke Ellington, and now we can add Wayne Shorter now? Why are they very important to Black American music?
Well, I hope they are, it should be. I mean, anytime, in my time of growing up, man, like anytime there was anybody black doing anything, you saw them on television, everything stopped. Now we take a lot for granted, because you see us a lot, but you don't really see us, or we don't really look at each other enough to see where we really come from, to see how rich we really are in our own thing, whereas we're trying to achieve the same thing someone just did without even realizing where we all come from. It's our story, and that's what the jazz is to me. Jazz music is a part of our real black history culture. If you talk about black history, you have to talk about jazz music. Jazz music is black history. It represents every part of like what we call the black history of this growth of us coming from this into that. It's how we took our experiences and put it together to interpret a story that included everybody. And we're still doing the same thing, but now, like I said, it's I hope it stays that understanding that we have about where it comes from, what it means, instead of being just too technical. There's too much beauty in it.
Do you think the universities are making it too technical?
To a degree, because I'm in my neighborhood and I hear guys practicing in the way where I hear no songs being practiced on. I hear systems. I hear stuff up and down. It sounds really incredible. Sounds like mechanically beautiful. But I don't hear anybody practicing how to play a melody of something that Billie Holiday sang, or like it's not even important anymore. And so for me, like the way to learn something about the feeling of something is like that's what we imitated someone for. I would play over and over with Clifford Brown's solo on Sarah Vaughan's Gym, just to get that feeling how he laid each note, and not to play that solo anywhere, but like once it's like how you do classical etudes, and when you get that feeling of like they was feeling in something that you could walk away remembering for the rest of your life. Whereas now, when I hear coming out, I can't remember how to say that many notes. What I'm saying? It's no, sometimes it's not enough breath, like just to take a breath to say, okay, here's my story, let me speak, let me, and so, yeah, and maybe it's because of timing too. We're coming up on different times soon, so I think pretty soon people gonna be speaking different. We coming up on something soon, man. We gonna be speaking. Jazz gonna get different. Everybody gonna be different.
Yeah.
Politically speaking, and I don't want to go there at all, but
Jackie McLean.
Yeah.
You I gotta say you've learned from some very important heavyweights. That school is producing and still producing some very, very important musicians. Tell me about the first time you met Jackie Mac, and what are some of the things that he instilled upon you as a musician?
To listen, plain and simple. I mean, like Jackie, you know, Jackie, you know, it was different with Jackie. Jackie went, you know, when I was there, he wasn't so much a music program as he was the head of it, you know. And so I got with him and practiced with him a few times, you know, because then that's when he started to get big again because of the school. And then all of a sudden, you know, Lincoln Center was reaching out to him, and so Jackie's rise was coming back on. So you get up there, and all of a sudden he's not there so much, but when he was there, and we got to do a few gigs with him up there, like he set up the situation. We had this band up there for Hartford, and so there was some great experiences there. Got to play with some great people, and I remember how he talked. It's the same way I learned about the music. How he was showing me things. Like his bird did. Like so he showed me a lick and how important that lick was, what it could do. But it wasn't the technical way he talked to me about. Okay, then over this turnaround, over this 2/5. Now take that to the key. Now go through, find this, and so that let you know. That's what I could get from Jackie, because and that's why he convinced us to get up there, because it wasn't my plan at first to go to school. I was just going to go to D.C.
Oh, really?
Coming from Georgia, because that's where I met the cats down there, and I remember cats saying, "Man, look, get somewhere," because might have been Rufus Reed who first said it. He said, and it was down at the Atlanta Cool Jazz Festival, and the Heath Brothers we had just played with, and so it was a paper article, Harper Brothers, Heath Brothers, and so he told us, man, get somewhere else, man, like go to school up in this area, that area where guys go to all the time, because like once a year they would come to Atlanta, or and so you get somewhere like Philly or DC, or somewhere where the guys travel to a lot, coming out of New York, so you get to see these cats and learn from them. And then at the same time, sometimes somebody needs somebody in the band, then you become one of the local yokels. Whereas he's saying, like, if say somebody comes here and they need a trumpet player, and they ask 5 different people, who can I get, man? I need, he said, and on that list, your name is on everybody's list, whether it be number 1 or number 5. But on everybody's list, your name falls. That's all you need to work for. Like I said, work for that, and then keep building that up. And so that's the kind of advice I got to me that was like out of school. That he was telling you how to learn. Go learn from who's doing it, So DC is where we started, and that's how Jackie McLean saw me and my brother playing together, the one step down, and offered us a scholarship together, because it wasn't my intention to go. And so my brother had just quit Howard University, so he wasn't going to do school. So okay, we got this deal, Jackie McLean. Okay, we're there. So that's what happened.
Was your brother at Howard the same time Wallace Roney was there?
Yeah, I used to be up there while they were studying, because we had put our band together called the DC Jazz Quintet when I was still in high school in Atlanta, Georgia. So I was making trips up to, when I had any holiday, I spent them up in DC playing gigs with the DC Jazz Quintet, which was me and my brother, which was before the Harper Brothers, and I was still in high school then.
What did you say, or what did you think when you saw Wallace Roney the first time?
Oh, Wallace was heavy to me, man. Yeah, I heard about him. I met him a couple of times, and I hadn't heard him play yet. It took a minute. I forget when I finally heard him. It might have been actually in New York, but I had seen him a lot in DC before I met him. But there was a guy who was over the music program there who always talked about him almost too much, to the point that I didn't even want to meet him, man. I can't not go mention names, but the guy over the program, he just kept talking about him so much, man. But Wallace was one of the people who helped get me in that band with Art. Just like him and Wynton. I think all of them, they all agree, yeah, man, okay, go with Phil, man. There were some great trumpet players around who I thought were better than me, like Eddie Davis and down in Atlanta, Georgia, but those guys, you know, and Wallace, yeah, I couldn't believe, you know, because I didn't think he really dug how I played or anything, but he went to bat for me. And as a matter of fact, my gigs to get into the band was because Wallace called me and said, can you sub for me? So after a while, Art got pissed at Wallace, you know, sending me in his sub. He said, fuck you, man, go. So now I'm in the band for about 6 months. 6 months, and then now they get over their argument with each other, and now I'm gone. So at first I did 6 months, and then next thing you know, I went into depression, man. Like, I didn't know what to do, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Were there any trumpet players when you moved to New York City that you saw that was like, damn, I got to stay on my game. I got to get...
Always, man. I mean, that's always. I mean, I can tell there's so many guys now, I had names I can't remember, and they came and went. Even Chris Bodie, man. I remember seeing Chris Bodie playing on the street when he was playing. He could anything Clifford. And also, what's that, the kid, he got famous, but not his brother, Richard Holiday. And the Holiday. You remember Holiday?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Holiday, but he had a brother. His brother played trumpet.
Okay.
He used to play on the street. That and Chris Bodie used to play, and those were they could play all the Clifford shit up. Back then, you know, but then there was no internet. So like when you saw somebody doing that meant they went out to do that, man. Like they had to go search that shit out. Or it came to them either or some kind of way or the other. They got there to do that. So it was impressive, you know, and so then you see where people go after that. But it was interesting, man. You know, an interesting time when that came up because there were so many trumpet players who, actually it was more tenor players because at that time it was a Coltrane time. You go to a session, so it was good for me because it wasn't always a lot of trumpet players, so you could get a chance to sit in. If you're a tenor player or something like that, it's like 1,000 of them there. Right. So then now we talking about when Winton started getting, so all of a sudden, next thing you know, as I'm getting back in, now we got trumpet players coming. Even still, it took a long time before you see all these trumpet players are coming, and that started happening around the time I met Jeremy Pelt. And that motherfucker comes in. All right, now this shit's happening. All right, motherfucker. Here he comes, Jeremy Pelt, and I loved him, man. I said, come on down to Mingus, because that's when I was tripping a lot, and I said, okay, man, look, and then come sit in, man. Sue would love you, man. Sue would love, and she liked him, man. The thing is, I would leave him there. That once I got paid, I was out the door, man. You know, and I leave Jeremy there. I said, come on, man, it's called paying your dues.
That's it.
The next thing you know, he got the gig and I don't.
Yeah.
And he deserved it too, but that was about around when I left. But now you got Jeremy Pelt, man. And the back, and I remember Freddie, I was doing the Cleopatra, Freddie comes in and said, who's that kid there, man? Because he had all the Freddie stuff. He said, damn, who's that? I said, Jeremy Pelt, man, he loved it. He said, I know, man, he playing this shit, I played on this, and I know what the fuck that was, but he making sense of it. That's a fucking compliment.
Yeah.
As Freddie Harper said about Jeremy Pelt, I mean, he playing this shit. That was just some bullshit, but he making sense of it. I made a day for golf, and you can bet your life it rained. I tried to give a party, but the guy downstairs complained. I guess I'll go through life just catching colds and missing trains. Everything happens to me. I never miss a thing. I've had the measles and the mumps. I thought I'd play an ace, but my partner always trumps. I guess I'm just a fool who never looks before he jumps. Everything happens to me. At first my heart thought you could change this day for me. I thought love is a trick to end despair. Now I just don't trust this heart that thinks for me. I've mortgaged all my castles in the air. I telegraph and phone. I sent an airmail special, but your answer wasn't mine. There was hope to do. I fell in love with once, and it had to be you. Everything happens to me.
All of my musical guys that I grew up listening to are gone. Prince, Michael Jackson.
That means you're around my age, man.
And the jazz cat was Roy Hargrove of my generation.
For you.
Yeah, man, because I mean, I'll never forget the very first time.
So he's the first for you for jazz? Right?
No. I'm 51.
Okay,
so
I got you.
His first album, Diamond in the Rough, I was like
you be about his age.
Yeah.
You're just 1 or 2 years younger than him.
Yeah.
So he's in your generation.
Yeah. His album was like, and then the progression, the music that he did.
I watched that motherfucker. I met him when he was 17, man. He was 17. We in Mount Fuji, Japan.
What was he like?
Everybody was trying to, because there's this kid coming in, man. This kid, and everybody's talking about him, right? And I hadn't seen him yet. But everybody was trying, they want, there was cats and thing, and they wanted him to have my gig in that band, man. So, but he was already past that. They talked about his ass so much, he was already past working with Art Blakey. Right, so we do this gig together in Mount Fuji, and then me and you did something we on it together, man. But I remember meeting that motherfucker. He was 17 then the first time I saw him out there, man. And I remember everything he did was everything. We had the same heroes, we had the same singing heroes. We had, and then even before he passed, bro. And when I first got back, because I was gone from the States for a long time, man. And I get back, and so my spot, Smalls, I wasn't even working there first. I was watching, like, I used to go down to Carlos Abaji's night all the time. I always loved the tunes he did, because the motherfucker's true to the shit, like what he's trying to learn. That's it. And then Johnny O'Neill, oh, that's it. And you see, and then there's certain nights you say, okay, man, and the music, man, and so, but the club has everything. So Spike is doing it, so getting back, as we go through our story, Spike has it all. He has stuff I love and stuff I don't love so much, stuff I don't even like, but he's got it all, but it's packed with people who likes all of it. So what you gonna say about that?
Right.
So if he tries, and then so evidently these people knew how to bring that in, or whatever, or so, and that's part I didn't really know when I first got here. So either way, maybe that's it, but there was somebody there for whatever night he did, and so I think since I've been here, he's still been successful. I think maybe even more since pandemic.
Right.
Because he kind of knew how, like, all of a sudden shit was needed. It was needed for me too, So I respect him.
It's wild because there'd be a many a night, man, where I would see Roy Hargrove come off the street and come in and just play.
Yeah, man, we were there, like I'm saying, we would just be there together, just listening.
Yeah.
Play. We would be back there, right there in that little cold.
Yeah.
Before you go to because that's the best spot to listen from, because you don't have to deal with nobody talking. And shit. So me and Roy would be back there talking about who the next young cat was, right? And the last time I saw Roy, and he was wearing shades and shit, and I could tell his eyes were kind of swollen. I didn't like that. But Roy, man, we listened the same way. His healing, and I remember all the tunes I want to record this ballad here. Next thing I listen to Ray, he's already done it, or like all the Billie Holiday shit. Roy was a fan, period, right? He was a fan of this music, so, and for me, I'm a fan, man. I wasn't a great student, I was a great fan, still am. Everything about this music is, I'm a fan. You understand? Like this was the black history that I felt that, like, this is kings and queens. Donald Washington, I go down the whole list, Dakota Staten, there's a whole list of people I even got to meet, man. And when you think Melba Liston, I met Melba Liston, man. Sitting in the club up
this
here.
Was
in
a woman. This was
man, and if you understand what I'm saying, man, about like, then I'm in the Mingus band, they calling me royalty, man. I met royalty, and like, Sweets Edison, man. Oh,
I gotta ask you about that. I mean,
and man, he was my everything, man. Sweets Edison, Buck Clayton.
Woo!
Check this out. Sweets Edison, Buck Clayton, and Joe Wilder. Man, it was certain good because, like, in my time, you listen if you listen to this, you keep going back. And so I remember calling Joe Wilder up once. He got me on one of these shows, like, I can't remember what it was, so somebody had to take me there, but I wanted to take a lesson with him, but when you got to New York, you just learned this, And so Joe Wilder, because he could do everything, classical, one of the first witness.
Right.
And then you got Sweets, man, and Sweets I love so much, man. And I used to see Sweets, and then, you learn when you get to New York. I was living in Jersey, so I had a car. Some cats coming to town, and Sweets playing. So if I met Billy Higgins, he's playing with. Okay, cool. Now I'll pick you up, and then, So next thing I'm picking Sweets up from the airport. I'm getting the storage. I'm taking him to his hotel. And so that's what you did back then, in my time, right?
That's part of paying dues.
Yeah, man. It was what you call being hungry. Yeah, I guess you got to pay for hunger, but I was hungry, man. I was hungry for the stories, and and Sweets had stories, man. And so he was the greatest cat to hang out with. He loved, because he didn't like, because he always got in arguments with people. Sweets was hardcore, man. He dressed debonair, but he was hardcore, man. So when I showed up on the scene, I would drive him around. He called me Baby Boy. And so when we get to L.A., when I got with Art Blakey, man, he picked me up. He said, man, where's your hotel? Don't tell him up nothing. I'm going to get you. I disappear on them, and Sweets would take me to my hotel because I would do the same for him in New York. So it was a beautiful time, man. And then you think about that shit, and I be thinking like, nah, I'm not that old and shit, but
You got the very, very last end of the great era of those great musicians. Do you is there anything or anyone now, Philip, at your age and at your career right now, that you regret that you didn't record or you played with and had the opportunity to?
I didn't. That's almost a hard one to say because I know, me and Roy played together many times. I loved him. We loved the music. We loved the music the same way. Wherever we were, it was never nothing. It was never, we do this, we do that, but it was never like it's nothing. And we'd be back in the back just thinking about how great that shit was that we could do it. And that's something just like, I don't know, man. I don't know how to answer that. I miss a lot of people. I can say that. I miss Blakey. I miss times it was, and then times you start thinking to yourself, trying to figure out where it's gonna go next, right? And in that, there's fear that comes with it, right? Like, okay, man, like, how much time do I have on bullshit? No, really. I say this to myself all the time. Like,
wow.
Like how long can I, got new needs. Like, how long can my needs last? One would say, like if you travel in the desert, how long? And so you think if the world is changing as much as it is right now, how long can I last? So you think Trump, you think all this stuff is about to happen, and then music, but still there's all these young kids, man. There's some kids playing their asses off.
I'm seeing it.
I'm telling you, man. So and I end up still keep going back to thinking about the whole Mingus thing when I see some of these kids who I saw doing shit that I knew I couldn't do. At their age, I played with Art Blakey, and I couldn't do at their age. You know what I'm saying? I saw this little girl on trombone, man. I said, what the hell, man? And then you start thinking, wow, man, So so there's some things I don't want to miss.
Right.
Either. You dig what I'm saying? Like, so I remember Art Blakey used to always say, man, look, he said, I don't want to miss a fart if somebody blows one. Motherfucker. So he said, you got an eternal rest coming soon. He said, I never want to fall asleep. But every time we in the airport, he lays down for about 15 minutes and he's down hard. You can't touch him. Then he's up. But he would always tell you, man, you got an eternal sleep coming soon, so don't miss nothing. Check everything out. Be there for it. And so I guess that's the part I miss. I don't want to miss nothing. But, you get older. It gets hard to be there. I still don't want to miss nothing.
Philip Harper, what does Black American music mean to you?
Ooh. PHAM. PHAM. The name of my band is PHAM, and it means that in every way to be spelled. PHAM is Philip Harper American Music Expression. American music means everything that came to America to make this music we play. And that's not just, you know, the classical, not just, it's everything that came to make what we do, because we get something from everything and make it ours. That's who black folk are. Like, you know, it was the Maximo, not Max, who was Walter Bishop at this point. Jazz musician being cockroaches. You know that one? The Walter Bishop poem, you gotta find that one, man.
I'm gonna check that out.
Find it. It's a great one. And it's about the fact that we will never die. Jazz will always be here. We will, we find a way to exist and be in this thing, man, because, it's a story you have to tell. It's a story you have to tell about where you are, because now you get this, you get that, and still, it's all the same thing. Nothing's really changing that much. It's just doing this, but it's not going this high yet. It's still just doing this, but it's not going this high yet. So, who knows, man? You're hoping that somebody gets you. And I don't want somebody to get me so I'm like a star, somebody revered, because I've never revered anybody, because I met these people, man. I met Clifford Brown's widow, man, and she, I remember her ask, what makes the trumpet players think they can sing? And just regular moments you get with people that let you know, like, stupidity, this, that, and everything goes back and forth. We're human. And it's human expression. PHAM means Philip Harper American Music Expression. So it's my life, and that means the people I'm playing with, the music I'm taking in, the music they're giving me, because they're writing too, the kids. So I'm giving you what's happening right here where we're doing it, and that's what it means, So it's not something it's not mine, but it's my experience, because this is where I'm at. I'm back in America again. And it's happening. We got some kids coming along, because I was over there thinking, like, wow, ain't no kids in America learning jazz. Bullshit now. Bullshit now. So, that's what I mean. That's the other side, that's what I love. Now that, shit, man. Because I've been living over there thinking, like, wow, America just ain't going to catch up. And next thing you know, man, there's some kids here playing, bro.
And to back in what you're saying, to piggyback what you're saying, there are a lot of European young cats are here playing our music.
And they're there playing our music, so we're not even on the North Sea Festival or stuff like that anymore.
Right. Unless
we're doing, like, Snoop Dogg stuff or whatever, and now it's them. Because they can play jazz too.
Right.
You understand? So, and so, but anyway, you understand what I'm saying?
I get you. And I wanted to ask you this too. Singing. I mean, you're not a bad singer either, brother.
Well,
Louis Armstrong did it.
Yeah, and that's my story. Art Blakey said, one day I'm going to make me a recording singing. You don't need a good voice. All you need is great interpretation. And I laugh like a motherfucker every time he do that. And sometimes I go back and listen to myself after I sing in the night, and I laugh too. Like, okay, you tried. But it's my story, man. As you know, that's all I got. Because sometimes I hear something I want to do, and it's like, and it's a song. You're like, that's not a song for me, but I got to do it. I got to do that, motherfucker. So, and the last time I messed it up so bad, man. But I got to do it, you know. Because one of them, you got to really almost operatic. You got to challenge yourself, especially if you're getting older, man. I have to do something that's not.
You know what's funny? You say that, but Pops didn't have the greatest voice in the world.
No, but that's what Art told me. He said, check out Louis Armstrong. Billie Holiday couldn't sing it too.
Right.
Now Kid Cole. He said they just had great
interpretation.
And you know what? He was right as rain, but yet and still their voices were great because of their interpretation. So when you understand that, that's jazz. It's your melody is your shit. Not how many notes you can play. Your melody is your shit. And your melody, like Tony Bennett, man. That you know, you always think, you know, Tony Bennett sang it, but I hate to do that, but I love it, man. So when I think Tony Bennett, man, the way he is, and sometimes I wish I had that kind of balls to hit a note that way. And then but then when you think about singing a song, like, you know, and when we have to reach up there, Joe Williams.
Yeah.
Is the one you have to come on and say who did it. Oh,
yeah.
Like
yeah.
He would be
Al Jerome.
No, well, no, even beyond Al Jerome. But yeah, Al Jerome. The technique, but the song.
Yeah.
See, all those songs Al Jerome never sing, but right? But when you hear Joe Williams from Arthur to Al Jerome had all of that, but the song, just even mellow wise.
Yeah.
He was the last big band singer. Don't nobody say there's no big band singer.
I never thought about that.
The last big band singer was Joe Williams, man. The last big band singer. That before you had cats, you know, Billy Eckstine, you know, but of that genre, that was it. The last one is Joe Williams, man.
Right.
So and there's some stuff that I miss that nobody knows about or thinks about. So that's why okay, and nobody else is doing it. And I miss it. Let me do it for myself. So I try to sing. Sometimes it works, and sometimes you go back to the drawing board.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace, reporting live here at Smalls, here in the heart of the West Village, here in New York City. I'd like to personally thank the incomparable Philip Harper for his time. If you're ever in New York City, please support his residency here at Smalls. For more information on his upcoming tour dates and to order his music, please visit him online at philipharper.org and follow him on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, I'd like to personally thank Spike Wilner and his wonderful staff here at Smalls for their warm hospitality. For directions as well as upcoming information for Mezro as well as Smalls, visit them online at smallslive.com. As always, people, I can't stress this more than enough. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos here on YouTube and Vimeo and leave comments, as well as follow me on social media by way of Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Till next time, peace.